Anton Blast's level structure goes... Anybody else?
Why is there nothing worth watching on my shorts feed?
These fantasy If you guys ever wanted to...
Ah! Phew! Nearly got an ad for Zenless Zone Zero again. Anyways, mobile games! They've come a long way, with the first such examples of them dating back to 1994 with the IBM Simon, who was previously believed to be something called the Pignic MP2000, which had a version of Tetris running on it. It wasn't until 1998 when Nokia dropped a masterpiece that was Snake, and has been a flagship staple of every Nokia phone released since then, including the indestructible legend that was the 3310. In the 2000s, however, mobile gaming really started to take off, with a plethora of games on the Java 2 Micro Edition, or J2ME, platform. They were everywhere, and you could easily find them in game manuals or on the pages of certain magazines. While they have varied in quality, there have been some really good ones, especially those by Gameloft. As the App Store cemented itself on Apple devices in 2008, though, J2ME declined, while mobile games continued to evolve, boasting better 3D graphics, using its different components in all sorts of ways, and even home console games being playable on them. But ads also showed care and passion put into them, with animated trailers that grab the player's attention and show off actual gameplay and not whatever this is. Yeah, mobile games are still around, and there have been some impressive ones, especially from... Hurryoverse, but now they're filled with misleading advertising, shoddy visuals, and microtransactions that not only eat a hole in your wallet, but also your love life. For me, I've been living in what I like to call the ad-free paradise, where I've been slowly saving up play points on Google Play to redeem some cheap, paid mobile games. So far, I've played and beaten Rovio Classics Angry Birds, Cut the Rope Experiments, and more recently, Where's My Water? I even played through some games on the Half-Brick Plus service. Pre-rebrand, it only gives you 60 minutes to free play and requiring a monthly fee to play the games. I miss when they let you play with no strings attached. Anyway, playing these games reminded me of quite a few ones that I remember playing but have been forgotten by everyone else. In fact, I'm going to talk about 4 of those games that feature unique gimmicks and characters that are pretty much lost to the sands of time to mobile gamers everywhere. I was going to screen record my phone to get footage, but the apps can't be downloaded due to no longer being compatible, so we're going to use BlueStacks to emulate them instead. Let's get started! Everyone knows Angry Birds, right? The beloved mobile game franchise that was previously in the red for using AI art on the year of its 15th anniversary? Why don't we turn it on its head? Instead of launching the birds from stationary slingshots, how about instead launching them from multiple suspended slingshots through larger, more expansive levels than the smaller self-contained ones we're used to? Instead of knocking down structures with pigs in them and earning stars, how about now you have to get to the pig that's still in an egg, collecting stars along the way? Because that's exactly what Bouncy Mouse feels like. Bouncy Mouse is a weird platformer puzzle hybrid published by Monkadoo Games and developed by Eric Carle in August 2011 for iOS and later in October for Android. The gameplay is pretty much what if Angry Birds was a platformer, but it kept the slingshot. The plot is shown in the cutscene before the first level, which shows peace on Mouse Island until Captain Cat arrives and steals the Biggie cheese, prompting Bouncy Mouse to go after him to get it back. You control the titular mouse by flinging him by the tail, if you could call it that, across these swirly dots, collecting cheese along the way, and getting to the cat, charging a Pizza Tower boss face transition style punch to send him flying at the end of the level. Collecting all the cheese in the level unlocks a new cosmetic for the mouse, whether it's a hat, an accessory, or trail that follows him whenever he gets flung. The game currently takes place across 4 cheese-punned worlds with 40 levels each, and a bonus episode themed around Valentine's Day, and an extra 6 levels. They're Brie Beach, Fromage Forest, Swiss Cheese Sands, Paneer Peaks, and Ricotta Romance. Good thing there isn't any Michael cheese in this, because as we all know,
Michael cheese is objective in-game horror.
each level introduces unique gimmicks, like bee enemies that either stay in one place or fly in a pattern, terrain that cancels your bounces to focus on downhill sliding, and many more as the game progresses. The Valentine's Day world also features a pink mouse that can be playable everywhere else after it's completed. Completing a level once unlocks Challenge Mode, which removes health and instead gives you a limited amount of flings before the swirly dots become spiky and kill you instantly, adding replayability. An icon will be displayed under the best amount of cheese you got in a level if you do beat it. Also, the mice speak English, and whenever you run out of health, the blue mouse briefly becomes Sam's Undertale.
Sometimes I dream about cheese.
The game then became playable on web browsers later on, adding 5 exclusive levels, account login for safe data backup, and in-app purchase saving. But said purchases don't work anymore, so what's the point? Apparently the composer, Nick Pitzinger, later went on to do score programming for Fast and Furious 7, which is as random as the concept for an Angry Birds platformer is. In my opinion, the game is rather enjoyable, and can be easily exploitable to skip huge chunks of the level if you get a good fling. The music is pretty catchy, and the environments and visuals aren't bad for 2011. However, there are some caveats. How far the mouse goes can be a double-edged sword, with a misplaced fling sending you back to an earlier part of the level, which can be infuriating. Sometimes, more time is spent watching the mouse bounce than actually flinging it.
How long is this going to take?
The camera can be used to zoom out farther to get a better look at the level, but you can also zoom in alarmingly close to the mouse, which makes the game impossible to play. The level icons do give a good representation of what you're about to get into, but it can feel copy-paste sometimes, and clash with the uniformity of the in-game sprites. It ain't initial broadcast Dragon Ball Super, but the art is still good nonetheless. Overall, despite its short length, Bouncy Mouse is enjoyable for a quick session when you're waiting for a bus, and its beguiling colors and catchy music help place it alongside the other more well-known mobile games. I recommend you check it out for a good challenge. Moving on, here's Cordy, a thankfully more traditional platformer developed by Silver Tree Media and released on July 27, 2011, the same year as Bouncy Mouse. I actually forgot about this game for a while until I saw a video of someone speedrunning Cordy Sky, but that's for later. You play as the titular robot who must give power back to his home planet after it starts to fade. You go through 26 levels, collecting all the gears in them, and collect zap drops along the way to open up doors needed to progress. You get 3 stars at the end of the level, one for just completing it, another for collecting all the gears, and a final one that's basically a speedrun reward. The gameplay is very much inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog, with a little bit of Chibi Robo sprinkled on top. There's the fast running speed you can reach, bouncy springs, pushable objects, destroying walls by running into them like Knuckles, and for chord usage, though Cordy does have some unique mechanics of his own, such as the ability to do a short hover after a jump, break blocks by falling, and using his cord to open doors 4 years before Chibi Robo Zipflash did it. More gimmicks get introduced as the game goes on, such as swinging across gaps, picking up objects, and electric fan-like things that make you hover. In certain levels, an obstacle blocks the exit, requiring you to look for a way to get past it and move on to the next world. There are also customization options, which allow you to give Cordy a new color or make him wear a hat, some of which you can find in certain levels, and the majority you have to pay with real money. Gee, don't that sound familiar, perhaps? I remember playing the light version of the game countless times, where level 4 had a preview zone that showed you what's to come if you paid for the full game. The design and detail of the environments is pretty impressive for 2011, and wouldn't look out of place on the 3DS, Wii, or even the PSP. They sometimes make effective use of 2.5D like Klonoa to make the game stand out among the other 2D platformers available on mobile, including Sonic 4. The music, while limited, has a calming, subtle techno vibe to it that makes it perfect to relax to. The design of Cordy himself is adorable and expressive to fit the situation he's in. So now that I'm looking at him, he may or may not be the inspiration for the design of Computeri, a character I created for a college presentation and a Scratch game. I mean, look at them. They both have screens for heads. While there are some gripes, such as no harmful enemies that prove a challenge, level length on par with Sonic Forces, and a sometimes confusing design of the levels, Cordy deserves the positive reception it got back in the day. Enough for it to get a spin-off and a sequel. These are Cordy Sky, a doodle jump-like game that takes place in between, and Cordy 2, which expands upon the original game and finally has enemies worth worrying about. Silvertree also made another game in the same year, Sleepy Jack, an on-rail shooter that takes place in different dream worlds and where Cordy makes a cameo. Overall, I also recommend you check Cordy out for its calming music and impressive environments, and you'll enjoy it as much as I did back in the day. Ninjas, experts in stealth and trickery, and masters of martial arts and ninjutsu. Their arsenal of weapons is plentiful, but their katanas are the most versatile. They master the skills of invisibility, teleportation, and even summoning copies from pure speed alone. Not only can anyone be a ninja, but anything can be one. From turtles, cars, elves, or even chickens. Oh wait, wrong chicken. There we go. Released on Android by Mo Minis, who then became Playscape, on February 9, 2012, Ninja Chicken is about a chicken who, after encountering a dog, runs into a clothesline in a panic and gets a sock on his head, which then turns into a ninja's mask for some reason. What follows is a simplistic 2D runner set across 35 levels that has you performing objectives a la modern Minion Rush, either by collecting a set number of acorns or silver coins, laying eggs in nests by jumping over them, ooh, that's gotta hurt, or running a set distance. The controls are as basic as you can get for an endless runner like this, being a simple jump that can be held for extra height, and a slide, though there is a fastfall that can be performed while pressing the slide button in midair. There are some unique gimmicks here, like throwing a shuriken to cut down cacti. The star of the show, the funky chicken who thought he was a ninja himself, has voice lines, but you better get used to hearing them since he only has one sound for each action, such as laying an egg, sliding, which you'll hear a lot,
Again. Say again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say one more goddamn time.
his hapless cry of ninja upon running into an obstacle, and a much more alarmed upon jumping on a cactus. There are also bonus levels that can be accessed by paying up gold coins or by watching a video. However, they're just regular levels, both filled with silver and gold coins instead of acorns. The graphics are passable enough for 2012, and the design of the chicken himself looks appealing to the target demographic. However, the levels only have one song that plays over and over with no variety and cuts out way too early, and the clouds in the background are incorrectly layered. There are some glitches, like the dust cloud leaving you if you slide the moment the level starts, and if you pause just as you run into an obstacle, the text overlaps and you can unpause, though doing that soft locks the game. Ever wanted to play as a hay block? Well, now you can. Enjoy it while it lasts. I also remember playing this game, though I didn't enjoy it as much as Cordy and Bouncy Mouse, and there were better options for endless runner games at the time. Though apparently this became successful enough to spawn a franchise, starting with Ninja Chicken Ooga Booga, which released the same year. Despite the offensive subtitle, it expands upon the original with a new story, dog enemies, bamboo ziplines, breakable logs, teleport stones, power-ups, and a new luck-based minigame at the end of each level, then as Ninja Chicken Adventure Island, not affiliated with Hudson Soft, in 2013. That adds a proper overworld, a more expanded story, refined mechanics and visuals, and more gimmicks, like rotten fruit that blocks the way ahead for a while, snake springboards, crumbling bridges, and a life system similar to King games. The latest main installment is Multiplayer Race, released in 2014. It's a 2D version of Sonic Force's Speed Battle, both a pet system that gives you extra powers, and cosmetics you can wear to stand out. Ninja Chicken now no longer dies, but instead bumping into obstacles knocks him back for a bit. He also has a new roll move that replaces his slide and slightly better sprites, including one for diving. Now that I listen to the music, it almost sounds like the escape theme from Anton Blast, which released 10 years later. Here's a comparison. Can't believe they predicted Anton Blast like that. And then there's Ninja Chicken Thanksgiving. But it's literally just the first Ninja Chicken, except he's a turkey, the acorns are cranberries, and the sky is in sunset. Does he go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu? No. Much like how Ninja Chicken Beach is just Ooga Booga, both a beach theme and actual different music, unlike Thanksgiving. But let's see what Playscape are up to these days. Oh. But Monkey Wrench will always be superior in my opinion.
What?
Amigote, pendejo!
Last game we have is Tiny Ball vs. Evil Devil, released on August 29, 2011 by RV App Studios, who are well known for their reaction-based Finger Slayer games, but nowadays produce more mobile shovelware than the Wii and DS could ever have. The plot revolves around the titular Tiny Ball, whose ship, don't ask how he got it, has been overrun by square devils. While this conflict may sound similar to Red Ball 4 with the Circles vs. Squares plotline, it actually plays like those cannon games that we all used to play on our browser because they happen to look like Angry Birds. You aim your height and angle adjustable cannon towards the devil and shoot one of your limited balls at it to knock him down and beat the level. To help you accomplish this task, there are 3 additional balls that act as power-ups. A bowling ball that pushes blocks away easier, a tennis ball that bounces all over the place, and a bomb that, unlike the others, can be placed anywhere you'd like before it counts down and goes to... The game has the most levels out of all the games here, with 120 levels spread across 6 episodes, with one of them being unlockable with stars. There's even a Seasons game mode, the Kids have added Angry Birds Seasons, that offers Halloween and Christmas-themed levels. So if you ever find yourself bored after you somehow beat every regular level, this mode offers slightly more content to keep you engaged for longer. Or you could pay for it, but don't expect that to work. The game doesn't have much music, aside from a guitar loop on the title screen, a series of songs in the intro cutscene, a little ditty when you beat a level, and a much more triumphant jingle upon getting a high score. It does promise that more levels are coming soon, but with RV mass-producing shovelware these days, I don't think this will happen anytime soon. I also remember playing this game as well when I was young, and I thought it was appealing since I played games similar to it, like Red Ball 4. The characters also perform animations every so often, making the mostly static playfield feel alive. However, I do think they could have used more locations in the ship, like maybe a dining hall, kitchen, captain's cabin, or even outside of the boat, which is also displayed on the title screen and intro cutscene. That would have given the game a much more diverse locale variety. The lack of music during gameplay makes the devils feel slightly more ominous, as they can look menacing to a younger crowd. If you replay a level enough times, you get jump scared by an out-of-nowhere voice that says,
Don't stop.
And no matter how much you restart a level, you will hear it.
Don't stop.
Don't stop what? Trying? Believing? Me now? I don't know what you're telling me not to stop is your voice, but if I hear you one more time, then I will stop! It was also successful enough to get a sequel, with a much more brighter color palette, but with a much more brutal app icon. Aside from that, a different way to kill the devil, a new square, and the addition of a life system, it's pretty much the same game as last time, but this time with an overworld map instead of a traditional level select, so you're doing a cut the rope 2 thing. Nothing much to say here, except for one thing. Do you know why I opted to use already existing footage instead of my own for this game? Because this is what the game looks like if you try to run it in BlueStacks. Yeah, very unpleasant. And there you have it, a look at 4 mobile games that I remember, but have been forgotten about since then. They may have enjoyed modest success when they first released, but that doesn't mean they can still be enjoyable today. What matters is that they took a risk in making these games, and it worked for them to the point of some of these games getting sequels. While one of these games is still playable in your browser, the rest of them are no longer playable on newer devices, requiring that you get an older one or run them through BlueStacks. Overall, there are plenty of mobile games available on the app stores, but if you search through or get bored of the tried and true heavy hitters that everybody knows, you might find unique games like these that have care and passion put into them, and not whatever we have nowadays. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to watching some more shorts. Surely it won't get that bad, right?
What did you want to be when you were Donkey Kong 64?
Not you again! Oh, come on! I need to escape the ad! Just a little more! Phew! That's more like it. Thanks for watching! Sorry that it took me so long to get this video done. I didn't have access to my computer for a while. My hard work definitely paid off in the end, as this video was in the works for 2 months now. Expect more videos like this to hopefully grace your feeds in the near future. Also, thank you all so much for 500 subscribers. Sorry that I didn't have time to come up with a celebration, but after this video, I'll work on a little something to celebrate. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and check out my other content. Until next time, stay bricky!